You guys doing all right?
We are doing good today, Coach. Good to have you on. Ninth season at Little Rock, first in the OVC, team picked fourth in that preseason poll. But just what are your general thoughts on your program and the upcoming 2023 season?
Well, we're excited. We are familiar with the OVC, having played a few teams in the past, have a ton of respect for the league, know that we're stepping into a very tough baseball conference. It goes back to Matt Braga's team at Tennessee Tech, the year that they made the run down to Austin, won 50 games. We had them early in the year, and we thought they could really hit and had a good club. And then as we watched them move on, we were kind of like, wow, that's one of the better teams we'll face. And then the next year we went to their place, and Eastern Illinois, the past couple of years, we've seen them, the way they pitched and had the first round shortstop and the arms, and I don't want to leave anybody out. SEMO, outstanding club. So we're expecting for every weekend to be a battle, just as it was in the previous league, and our program is excited about it.
So, being excited, what are your differences though? Like moving from one conference, or your challenges, I guess, moving from one conference to another, or is it just, hey, let's see what happens out there this year, or nothing much has changed? You just play who's on the field.
Well, difference, first of all, I think you have to talk about travel. There's a routine that goes with that, a Thursday night practice, the stadiums, the field, the crowds, the environments, and then moving forward to the coaches, how each coach likes to run their game individually. Are they more of a bunt and hit and run type guy? Are they more of a 3-run homer type guy, which I believe this league is built more? It's super offensive, and we're aware of that. And so I think that's the adjustment, is we've become accustomed to each head coach and each program and what they like to do in certain situations. But now we'll have to learn the tendencies of these other teams, and they're very well coached, and we expect to see a lot of different angles, a lot of different techniques, and it'll be a learning process for us.
And there's two other new teams besides yourself, so they're learning, and the transfer portal has changed things with newcomers. You expect it to be competitive, but anything else you maybe expect to see? You said offense, just top to bottom in the OVC this year.
Well, as I alluded to earlier, the arms we're familiar with. The top end arms are really, really good, draft type guys. The new teams have been successful where they're coming from. And with baseball, I think that there's a quicker acclimation phase. I think you can win quicker in baseball as compared to football. Football, you've got to gain size, you've got to gain speed to catch up. Basketball, same thing. You've got to get some length and height. And baseball, as we all know, the height, doesn't necessarily matter. I think the separator is the bullpens. I think when you look at the top of the league and the bottom in any league, it's who can finish the game. That third Sunday starter, that's a big key. And so that's what we're trying to focus on in our club, is round out the depth on the mound. I like our depth at the position players. You talked about the transfers and the portal. That's two-edged sword. We got 25 new guys. And I think as you go around college baseball, that's the theme, is every coach is talking about, wow, we've got a bunch of new players. And so culture and chemistry are at the forefront right now, in my opinion, getting guys to play well together. And then we have a lot of guys who've never been on Division I field. They're good players where they come from, but they have not played at this level. Or you have D1 transfers who, let's be honest, probably are transferring because maybe they didn't play as much, or they're looking for an opportunity. And so everyone's trying to gain experience quickly against experienced teams, and everyone's veteran, everyone's physical, everyone's mature, everyone's older. It's really tough for a freshman to step in and play. They can do it, but it's gonna be a battle.
Every year being different, how long does it take to get teams to come together? I mean, you have the fall, but does it take a couple weeks in the spring, or some catch on faster than other teams?
Well, I wish I had that answer. I'd write a book. Every coach is chasing that. It's a great question. Sometimes it takes a month into the fall, and they gel quickly and they get along. Sometimes it takes a month into the season, maybe facing some adversity, We've always thought that a road trip was really good, taking off for 3 days on the road to get to know each other better. But I think once you've been through some tough times together as a team, and you've got some stories to tell each other about what we've accomplished, that's when you start to see it come together. The first key is getting to trust each other. And what we've preached in our locker room is we just want to win, guys. And that seems very cliche, but if you will put winning ahead of your individual accomplishments, then as a byproduct, your individual accomplishments will happen, because a winning team always has good players and a winning team gets noticed. And so that's what we've tried to talk about.
Are there a couple, 2 or 3 players maybe to watch that you could tell the people want to hear about?
Absolutely. I think for us, the most experienced player and the player, in my opinion, that has a chance to make some noise in the league is Tyler Williams in center field. As close to a 5-tool player as we have, with the run and hit tool, with power, an elite defender, and had a lot of Division I at bats. And then it goes to Jake Wright, probably our next most experienced position player, our catcher. It'll be his 3rd year on the team, and Ryan Lee right behind him. I believe the catching position is a 2-headed monster. No one can catch all the games, as you guys know, and so I'm very happy with that. Around the diamond, there'll be a lot of new faces. You know, our freshman, who hasn't had an at bat yet, was named by another publication as preseason freshman of the year. That's nice, but the guy has not played in one college game. On the mound, you talk about Jackson Wells. We're very appreciative of the league's tip of the cap to him with preseason all conference. But what we talked about just yesterday, when that story came out, was most of the preseason rankings and recognition is based on last year. And so we use it as a challenge for our players. Hey, that's great if you got noticed, but that's about last year. And then as a team, it's pretty much about last year, and last year's over. And so those guys, I think, are going to be good players to watch. Noah Brewer at first base for us would be a guy that's going to be one to watch is Luke Pechtel. He's a transfer from San Jac in Texas. He can run, he can hit, and we like him to be a good player for us.
For somebody who's never seen a Little Rock baseball game, like, what would they say about your team? What is the cornerstone, or is it going to be hit for power, steal bases, the pitching? What would you say?
I hope what they say is balance. I hope they say is balance. I hope that we're an athletic club who can score a few different ways. We talk about being an offense and not one-dimensional. Look, with the arms in this league, especially on the front end, you're not going to be able to stand in the box and just try to hit home runs. You're going to have an offensive plan to grind out at bats, to get pitch counts up, to get on base, to move runners. There will be days where it will require scoring in bunches and the home run will be in play. And we do have that in our toolbox, but we need to also be able to run the bases, go first to third, steal a bag here and there, to be multi-dimensional. It's a very offensive league. Historically, we've done our homework. We have an offensive park. Many of the parks are, and that's fun. That's fun for the fans. That's fun for college baseball. It's not so much fun for a pitching coach or myself, because no run is safe, but or no lead is safe. But I hope if you're sitting in the stands watching Little Rock, say, first of all, they don't quit. It doesn't matter what kind of lead you get on Little Rock. They don't quit. They're gritty. They respect the game. They play it the right way. They play hard. They're not a team that disrespects their opponent, but a very gritty and tough team.
Well, let's end with your schedule. And you always have a lot of home games early. Your climate lends to that, but just some of those opponents, and what your team's going to see in the non-conference.
Sure, we'll open up at home with South Dakota State, and they're a very solid Summit League team. A good matchup for us. A couple of in-state midweek games. Go to Pine Bluff, and then it's Bradley, Valpo, and then down to the Southland Conference team, a former place that I used to work, Northwestern State. A lot of respect for them. And then there in April, we play some pretty tough midweek games with Ole Miss and Arkansas on the road. Those will get us ready for the league. We'll keep our in-state rivals, which I'm happy with, because it's good for baseball in our state. We are very fortunate to have warmer weather. 5 of our first 6 weekends are at home. I think that's important, not only because you get to bat last and sleep in your own bed, but we've got a lot of new players that have never played. And that's tough to kind of cut your teeth on Division I baseball on the road. And so I like that we're playing at home, and I appreciate our administration for allowing us to make that happen too.
Well, Coach, glad to have you in the OVC. Thanks for joining us this morning, and best of luck to you and the Trojans this year.
Thank you, guys. We're happy to be here.